And welcome back. As Canadian businesses struggle to pay their employees amid the economic turmoil caused by COVID-19, federal political parties are in the same boat. The Liberals, Tories, NDP, and Green Party have applied for the federal wage subsidy program to keep employees on the payroll. Can a party keep afloat through the pandemic? Let's find out with the National Director of a political party, NDP National Director Anne McGrath is here. She joins us from her home, I guess. Nice to see you, Anne.
Thank you. It's nice to be back on Power Play.
I'm wondering this. So you're applying for the emergency wage subsidy for NDP workers. You know, what is happening and how many workers are we talking about here?
Well, for the NDP, we're talking about around 30-ish, a little bit more than 30. We have about 17 full-time employees and 15 to 20 part-time, so it's a very lean operation. When the pandemic was declared and the economy essentially shut down, we knew that it was going to have an impact on our resources, on our revenue, and it did have an impact. We saw a drop, and a fairly immediate drop in the month of March, and then a more significant one in the month of April, and I expect something similar for the month of May. So our donors continue to be very supportive. Our monthly donors are staying very strong, but we had to immediately, of course, stop all in-person fundraising. So we canceled something like 7 in-person major events that we had planned then, and of course we've got nothing in terms of in-person fundraising planned from now till the end of the summer. So all of that dried up. The phone fundraising and the digital fundraising continue to be good, but there are many of our supporters who are the hardest hit in some ways by this pandemic. You know, people refer to it as a she session, and a lot of our supporters are women, students, single parents, new Canadians, and they've been hard hit, and they've had to either reduce or stop their contributions altogether. In almost all cases, they really regret that, and they are looking forward to restarting once the economy turns around.
So you would get a 75% wage subsidy. First of all, were you green-lighted? Can you get the subsidy? And, you know, will you be able to keep all those employees you're talking about?
Well, we just applied today, so I don't have the answer to whether or not we've been accepted or not, although I imagine we would be, given that the other parties were accepted. I didn't know that they had applied and had already started receiving funding. But we applied today after I had to have discussions, of course, with our caucus and with our federal council and with many of our supporters before we actually went ahead with this. But I expect that we will be accepted, and it will be a 75% wage subsidy for all of our employees, which will mean that we will not have to lay anyone off, and that we will be able to continue our operations and continue the good work that I think a lot of people can see that we're doing.
I imagine the same conversations happen, you know, with the Liberals, the Conservatives, the Green Party, because they are all applying for the wage subsidy. They're all in trouble. Same scenario, a very hard time fundraising. No events. Obviously, all those events are canceled. But I'm wondering, in your conversations with the caucus, have you spoken of maybe MPs taking a salary cut? Is that something that was under consideration?
That would have absolutely no impact on the federal party operations. The MPs and parliamentary staff are paid through the House of Commons. This is the federal NDP political party, which is supported entirely by fundraising from individuals, with a limit on how much each individual can contribute, up to $1,600. So we get all of our funding through support from the public. And the public, and like every other organization that depends on support from the public, there's been a drop in revenues. I think almost pretty well every nonprofit in the country is experiencing this.
And every political party, the Liberals, the Conservatives, the
Yes.
NDP, the Green. Anne McGrath, thanks so much for these explanations. Have a
Thank you
great
very much.
weekend.
Good to see you, Joyce.